Hey everybody, I'm Greg Patillo and I'm a flute beatboxer, and today I'm going to show you how to make the kick drum sound on the flute. The kick drum sound sounds like this. And it sounds like this on the flute. I also like to do this one. I find a lot of people have a problem making this sound, and they don't really know where to start. A lot of people are trying to force it out so hard. You need to understand that this sound is really a resonance that can be articulated in many different ways. It's like a shape in the mouth and the throat. Okay, so when I go, I do that with the lips, but we can also do it with the tongue, or F, or H, or G, or even N, even this kind of stuff. So once you can exploit this shape and this resonance, there's a lot of different articulations you can do, and some pair together really well, like butta 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 butta, or bugga 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 bugga. To talk about this shape, I want you to pop your lips like this. All right, now that is just your mouth resonating with your lips. And what you need to do is open behind and below the tongue into your throat. You need to bring that sound into your throat like this. I'm going back and forth. And if you can do that, you get it in the throat and tighten in the lips. And that's the bass drum kick. It resonates in the mouth and the throat. And as a flute player, maybe you've heard your teacher talking about shaping the throat or the back of the tongue, or opening the throat, or doing things back there. This will do great things for your flute sound if you can figure out how to get your flute tone down here as well. So keep that in mind. All right, things not to do with this sound. Don't roll your lips. Not that. And don't use your cheeks. Don't use your cheeks. Don't do that. Although is a cool sound, that's not the right sound. This is the right sound. Don't get discouraged if the sound doesn't happen right away. Do the sound for a couple of days in a row as you walk about town or whatever you're doing. In beatboxing, sometimes these sounds take a long time to learn, and so it's key to first find something that's consistent, even if it's consistently bad. If it's the same bad every time, you can slowly chip away at the sound and make it better. So I'm not really forcing. It's really a very quiet sound, kind of just in this zone. Of course, you can force it. You can kind of brute strength this sound out as well. But this is the problem with the flute, is that we like smoothly lay our air on the flute, and we have this B plosive, and we have to bring these together, and that's a little bit of a challenge. And so I think of first, just do kick sounds, like 4 on the floor, and bring the flute just into the airstream without going into a flute embouchure. So I'm just going to finger an A and go. Okay, and you can kind of hear the, and you can kind of hear an airy sound there, like the Aeolian tone coming out over, which is a really cool feature of beatboxing on the flute. But what we want to do is get both the sounds together. So I think of going on one breath And don't re-articulate the flute note, just H it. You see my head's coming off the flute just so that I really keep the sounds separate. And then I just speed it up until they're kind of coming together. If you're not warmed up, you'll get bah, where the kick sound happens before the flute sound. But once you really get this lined up and you really understand where the sounds happen, they will happen at the same time. And you can free jam, 4 on the floor, anything you want. Right? Or but you can also do scales if you want. Or something like, or just doing really cool chord changes, like if we're in G doing 1 to 4, like. Keep in mind, you can do this sound with any note on the flute, all the way down to your lowest notes, all the way up to your highest notes. The high notes get a little finicky, but I like to do the extra blast of the notes with my ring finger for my low notes. And on the high notes, that's a little wonky up that high, and I find that usually I use more tongue for those high notes. All right, I hope you dug it. I hope this helps. This is how to do the kick beatbox style on the flute. Peace.